Hello everyone, I am Dr. Rajeshwari Moganty, Professor at the Department of Biochemistry, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. Now this paper is on medical biophysics, paper 8. The module we are doing today is a very first module which gives you the introduction to the basics of the instrumentation that is used in medical physics. This module is written by Professor H.D. Khanna from Department of Biophysics, Banaras Hindu University. I have only presenting this module on behalf of Professor Khanna. So medical physics actually involves a lot of equipment, and physics is the basics on all the medical equipment is actually based on the many physical principles. So all the clinical equipment used in hospitals have a lot of they owe a lot to physics and physicists, because without which the medical equipment would not have been made. So in such a situation, the understanding of the instrumentation, the basics of the instrumentation of those equipments which are used routinely in physics, in medicine and in the hospital is actually very essential, and that is the reason why I have introduced this module which gives you about the basics of fundamental simple parts which are routinely used in many instrumentations. Of course, highly sophisticated instruments will have have more advanced instrumentation facilities, but the basics actually, like terms like sensor and all, are being introduced in this module. So in this module, I would like to give an introduction, give an overview. In this, what I am trying to say is to make a measurement. First step is to convert the quantity to be measured into an electrical quantity, any property, any measurement that you are doing. And then measurement is an important subsystem of any mechanotropic systems, and its main function is actually to collect the information on the system status and then to feed it to the microprocessors which are controlling the whole system. So now when we talk about what do you understand by measurement of a system? Now the measurement of any system comprises basically, many more are there, but the basic things are a sensor, a transducer and a signal processing device. These are the basic fundamental things. Now a transducer is actually a device, in simple terms, that converts one form of energy to another form of energy, like we studied in the first law. This is actually using the first law. The energy types include, which are not only limited to these 2-3 what I am mentioning: electrical, mechanical, electromagnetic, including the light, chemical, acoustic and also thermal energy. So all these energies can be converted. Now input energy, transducer, output energy, these are the ones which actually form a basis or the basic parts of any instrument. Then comes the sensing process. So what is sensing process? And the word of the transducer is actually used as a collective term used for both sensors, which can be used to sense a wide range of different energy forms, which can be movement, if you are doing it in any measurable property is the movement, or electrical signal, or it could radiant energy can also become a parameter, or a thermal heat energy, or a magnetic energy. And the transducer actually contains two parts. What are the transducer? Contain two main parts which are closely related to each other actually. That is a sensing element and transduction element. So the sensing element, actually called the sensor, a device producing the measurable response to change in physical conditions such as temperature, pressure and etc. Whereas a transduction element converts the sensor output to suitable electric form. This is what is actually mentioned in the earlier. Now the parameters that are measuring the sensing element, transduction element, electric signal such as for example temperature. These are the things that will be measured. Pressure, it could be pressure, and so on and so forth. So let us now see in detail about the sensor output and others. Slide 13. Now after introducing you to the term of transducer, now overview of the transducers I am giving you in this slide. The transducers can be on the basis of principle, like whether it is a capacitive, inductive or resistive, or it could be active or passive transducer, or it could be a primary or secondary transducer. The other way to classify the transducer is analog type or a digital type, or lastly is the transducers which could be inverse or transducers. So transducers may be classified according to the above classification is based on their application or the method of energy conversion or by the nature of the output signal and so on. So you can have them, each transducer can be classified into any one of those categories, but this is generally the accepted classification of transducers. Classification can be analog and digital, primary or secondary, transducers or inverse transducers, or on the basis of transduction principle that is used, or active or passive transducers. Let us see analog and digital. You must have heard of these two terms very frequently. There are many different types of sensors we have seen that, and also transducers. Both can be input or output type or analog and digital type. Now when we say what is input and output type, the type of input or output transducer being used actually depends on the type of signal or the process being sensed or controlled by a sensor or transducers. And then of course the transducers can be described as devices that convert one physical quantity into another. So these are the terms you should frequently be used in medical physics equipments, that the transducer which is the one that converts the physical quantity into another quantity. This is the example I have shown you, a picture of analog and digital transducers. Now here what you see, the input is, for example, in a microphone, the sound wave is taken by the microphone, and then there is an amplifier which controller or the system. Then the output, of course, actuator, which can be a loudspeaker, whatever. So here it is actually converting the analog, the type of transducer. They actually produce a voltage or a signal output response, which is actually proportional, has to be proportional to the change in the quantity of the property that we are measuring, whatever it is. It could be a stimulus, it could be electrical, whatever it is. And the second point is important, is the type or amount of the output signal that depends upon the type of sensor that is used. But in general, mostly all the sensors can be classed as two kinds. One is a passive sensor or a active sensor. The classification of transducers, which you did earlier, that an actuator is a transducer that accepts energy and produces the kinetic energy of the movement, that is action. The energy supplied to the actuator might be electrical or mechanical, like for example pneumatic or hydraulic. Similarly, an electric motor or a hydraulic cylinder are both actuators which convert the electrical energy and fluid power into motion for different purposes, which have both functions. They both detect and create action. So the most common example is an antenna, a transducer of radio waves that can transmit or receive or both. So this is called transceiver. Another example is this typical ultrasonic transducer, which switches back and forth many times a second between acting as an actuator to produce ultrasonic waves and also acting as a sensor to detect ultrasonic waves. So it can be considered as a combination transducer. and rotating a DC electric motor's rotor will produce electricity, and voice coil speakers can also act as microphones. Now coming back to the analog and digital type sensors, analog sensors produce continuous output signal or voltage which is generally proportional to the quantity that is measured. Now physical quantities such as temperature, speed, pressure, displacement, strain, etc. are all analog quantities as they tend to be continuous in nature. For example, the temperature of a liquid can be measured using a thermometer or a thermocouple, which we studied in the zeroth law, which continuously responds to temperature changes as a liquid is heated or cooled down continuously. Thermocoupled to produce an analog signal. Now how does a thermocouple produce a signal, which is shown in this picture, in the slide, in the animation? The thermocouple actually senses it's an actually analog sensor. For example, you are heating the liquid, that temperature varying the voltage will be sent as a signal, and analog output will give as a signal. So this is actually a continuous process, so you will get time versus output signal. It will be continuously changing and it is not a static one. Now analog sensors tend to produce output signal that are changing smoothly or continuously over a time, and these signals tend to be very small in value, from a microvolts to several millivolts. So some form of the amplification is actually required. Therefore, then the circuits which measure the analog signals usually have a slow response and or all low accuracy. Now also analog signals can easily be converted into digital type signals for use in microcontroller systems by the use of analog to digital converters or ADCs. Digital sensors produce a discrete digital output signals or voltages that are digital representation of the quantity being measured. Now digital sensors produce a binary output in the form of a logic I or a log 0 on or off systems. Therefore this means that when the digital signal only produce discrete or non-continuous values as a signal bit output, serial transmissions will be produced, or by combining the bits to produce a single byte output, parallel transmission will be produced. Now the same thing has been shown that for example a light sensor used to produce a digital signal. Here it is been shown that the light signal rotating a disc will lead to a output signal, which is shown here as a time versus digital output on or off will be taking place. The digital sensors, the speed of the rotation of the shaft is actually measured by using a digital LED, and the disc is fixed to a rotating shaft, for example in the form of a motor or a robot wheels, which has a number of transparent slots within its design. As the disc rotates with the speed of the shaft, each slot passes by the sensor, in turn producing an output pulse representing logic I or logic O0 level. On the basis of the methods of application, transducers may be classified into primary, secondary transducers. Example is a thermistor, and thermistor senses the temperature directly and causes the change in resistor with the change in temperature. Now the secondary transistors are where the input signal is sensed first by some detector or sensor, then its output being of the sum or the form of input signal is given as input to a second transducer for conversion into electrical form. Then such a transducer is referred to as secondary transducer. For example, pressure measurement, the tube that is burdened is a primary sensor which converts pressure first into displacement, then the displacement is converted into output voltage by LVDT. Therefore, LVDT is a secondary transducer. The third category is the inverse transducers, where in the device which converts an electrical quantity into a non-electrical quantity. For example, piezoelectric crystals. On the basis of the transduction principle, we have resistive transducers capacitive transducers, inductive transducers, voltage and current generating transducers. Now what are passive transducers? Transducers in which electrical parameter such as resistance, inductance or capacitance changes with the change in input signal, and these type of transducers require external power source for energy conversion. For example, resistive inductive transducers, and in these type of transducers electrical parameters cause a change in voltage, current or frequency of the external power source. Now different types of sensors and transducers, its property on which the quantity that is measured, what is the input device in a sensor and what is the output device in actuator has been nicely shown in this comparative table. For example, light, temperature, pressure, position, speed, sound, they are all been discussed, but I have shown you concisely in this table. Now comes the applications. Now where do you use these applications? Are electromagnetic. Transducers are used in electric communication systems to convert signals of various physical forms to electronic signals and vice versa. Electromagnetic signals, for example, here you have seen that a signal, voice signal is converted to electric signal by a transducer, then electronic processors transmit the waves and then the electromagnetic wave is received, then electron converted by receiver to electric signal, and then transducer converts into back to signal. So first transducer is a microphone and the second transducer is a speaker. So you have these two using the electromagnetic waves as an example. Applications are also seen in day-to-day life. Antenna which converts the propagating electromagnetic waves to and from conducted electric signals. Then magnetic cartridges, tapes of the hard disks, read and write converts which magnetic fields are used, magnetic medium is used and to form the electric signals. Then also Hall effect sensors are there, converts the magnetic field level into an electric signal. Then the second type is the electrochemical, where you have used in the laboratory everyday pH probes, electrogalvanic fuel cells and hydrogen sensors. Now in electrochemical cells you have electroactive polymers, galvanometers, these are all your examples. Then strain gauge, airflow sensors, tactile sensors, all of them have the principle that is electrochemical transducers. Now the electrochemical transducers are number of them are there, but I am just highlighting three of them, that is pH probes, pH what do you call the sensors. For it could be it is used relatively routinely in laboratories. Then electrogalvanic fuel cells. The electrochemical type are, for example, pH probes, which are routinely used in laboratories for measurement of pH, acid, base, buffers, etc. Then you have electrogalvanic fuel cells, then hydrogen sensors. The electromechanical. These electromechanical output devices are generally called actuators, but in this there are a number of them. Electroactive polymers, then you have galvanometers, electromechanical systems, rotatory motors, linear motors, vibration power generators and potentiometers when used for measuring position. Now you have linear variable differentiation transformers, rotatory variable differentiation transformers, load cells. What does load cell do? They convert the force to millivolts and electrical signals using strain gauge. Now accelerometers, strain gauge, string potentiometers, which you physics labs you have used, airflow sensors and tactile sensors. These are all the examples for the electromechanical type. Now electroacoustic, as the sound says, as the name suggests, these are the use the sound. Now here it is the example of loudspeaker which we just discussed above, earphone, where the converts the electric signals into sound. Now here the amplified signal is magnified and then it is converted. Now then of course it is converted to motion, then to air pressure. In the microphone, the conversion to sound to an electric signal and also air pressure to motion of the conductor coil, which converts to magnetic field again to electric signal. Now third one is the pickup, or also use the music technology people use this in professionals. They convert the motion of metal strings into an electric signal. Magnetism converted to, what is the property here? The magnetism is used converted to electric signal. The electroacoustics there are more of examples. Tactile transducers, they convert electric signal into vibration, that is electric signal to vibration. Piezoelectric crystals, what do? They convert the deformation of the solid state crystals in which the vibrations are there to form electric signals. This is actually exploited the vibrations in the crystals. Then the geophone, which converts a ground movement, which is a displacement, into voltage. Here it is vibrations are converted to motion of the conductor or a coil, then that is converted to magnetic field, and that magnetic field is converted into a signal, because all of them finally you will have to have a signal which is a quantitative and which is a measurable property, which has to be proportional to the property or the measurement you want to do it. Otherwise there is no point. It has to be proportional. The final signal has to be proportional to the property or the measurement you want to do. The gramophone pickup, here the air pressure is converted to motion, that converted to magnetic field, and finally to electric signal. And most of them the final measurement will be electric signal most of the time, and those electric signals are proportional to the property you want to measure. In the electroacoustics, you also have other examples where hydrophone. What does hydrophone do? Hydrophone converts changes in the water pressure into an electric signal, and most of the time the name is very clear, which suggests that whatever is the property that is used. Now sonar transponder, here water pressure is converted to motion of the conductor or the coil, then that is converted to magnetic field, again converted to electric signal. And ultrasonic transceiver, which transmits the ultrasound, that is the transduced from the electricity, which as well as receiving it after the sound reflection from the target objects, availing for the imaging of those objects. So this is one of the applications of the based on the electroacoustics. Now the other one, the last one is the photoelectric. In the photoelectric, the fluorescent lamp is an example which converts the electrical power into incoherent light, whereas incandescent lamp which converts the electrical power into incoherent light, and light emitting diode which converts the electrical power into incoherent light. Now similarly, laser diode also converts electrical power into coherent light, and photodiode, photoresistor, phototransistor, photomultiplier, they all convert light levels into electrical signals. So you need, the light is the input and that is final output is the electric signal. That is why it is called electro-optical. The photodetector or the photoresistor or the light dependent resistor, LDRs, they convert changes in light levels into changes in the electrical resistance. So these are the photo detectors or the photoresistors. Detector of course does not tell you much, but the photoresistor actually explains, self-explanatory in its application, in its property that is been working on, on which it works. So the photo detector or a photoresistor or light dependent resistor, LDR, converts the changes in light levels into changes in electric resistance. Now the cathode ray tube you must have seen several times, CRT, which is used earlier in the TV, converts the electrical signals into visual signals. Now the applications of the other things, other areas are the electrostatic. Now we have studied electro-optical, now it is the electrostatic. Now the electrostatic is, electrometer is an example for the electrostatic, and thermoelectric, as the name says, that it is the heat that is used. Here it is the resistance temperature detector or RTD, which converts a temperature into an electric resistance signal. Now thermocouple, which converts relative temperature of metallic junctions to electric voltage. Thermistor, this thermistor includes PTC resistor and also NTC resistor. Lastly, radioacoustics. Radioacoustics, Geiger-Müller tube, which converts incident ionizing radiation to an electric impulse signal. This Geiger-Müller tube and Geiger-Müller counter you would have studied or you will be studying in the paper on radiation biophysics, where it has been whole equipment and technique has been explained in very detail. The next one is the receiver or a radio, and transmitter propagates electromagnetic transmissions to sound. Summarize what you studied. Different types of transducers we have studied which use energy conversion, and these transducers actually are devices which require no external power source because they derive their energy from the actual quantity to be measured. Therefore, in order to maximize the linearity of the output, one can choose short circuit the output and measure the output current, or to run it in a open circuit mode where the voltage is measured. Now photovoltaic cells, solar cells are example, thermocouples are examples, and velocity transducers are also examples. The next type of transducers are the resistive type, which obey Ohm's law. Now a second class of transducers is based upon the changes in the resistance of the device as some physical parameter that is changed. The resistance of a device is given by, which is the equation which you have studied, and the length and the area of the conductor are the important parameters. Whereas in case of the thermistors, photoconductive transducers and also the current limited transducers, these are the devices which are not accordance with the Ohm's law. In these devices, the current passing through the device is not proportional to the voltage applied, but instead to some external parameter of the interest. That is how it works. Now the photomultiplier tube, photodiode, these are the examples of this type. The other transducers which are not mentioned in the so-called what we have studied above are also displacement sensors are there, and linear variable differential transformers are there, LVDTs are there. They can detect motion and position with incredible sensitivity and linearity. So they are very, very good. Now how do you select this selection of a transducer? Now what is the physical quantity that is to be measured? That is one thing, you parameter. What is it what you want to, which property or the which quantity you want to measure? Which transducer principle can be used best to measure this particular quantity? These are the things you have to decide. What is accuracy? Is it highly accurate? Some of them are accurate. What is the requirement of your accuracy of measurement? And fundamental transducer parameters, which include physical conditions, environmental conditions, sometimes they may not work at all temperatures, compatibility of the associated equipment, and also reducing the total measurement error, which is important. Error is very important property. So using the place system calibration with corrections performed in data reduction, artificially controlling the environment to minimize the errors possible, like for example maintaining the temperature around. Transducers for physiological variable measurements need a different type of requirements. There a variable is any quantity whose value changes with time, and a variable associated with the physiological processes of the body is known as a physiological variable. Now here physiological variable can have many types. It could be an ionic potential, it could be a mechanical movement, or it could be hydraulic pressure, or a flow, body temperature. And also the different transducers are used for different physiological variables. So you need to choose what is the thing you want to measure and which is applicable to your own purpose and what accuracy actually you need. The electrical activity measurements use electrodes. Electrodes convert ionic potential into electric signals. A number of them, you will be studying all of them in each one as one module. EEG, ECG, EMG, ERG, EVOG, all of them come under this type. And these different type of electrodes are used: surface electrodes, needle electrodes, micro electrodes. And in biomedical applications, you use thermal temperature. I think in zeroth law also we studied temperature measurement. Thermocouples are used, thermistors are used, radiation and fiber optics detectors are used, PN junction semiconductors are used. PN junction semiconductor, you have one full module on it coming in this paper. Blood flow measurement is one module, second module I think. Then you have ultrasonic principle, ultrasonography is one module. Fiber optic laser Doppler flowmetry is also there. So these are all the modules you will be studying in this paper on medical biophysics, and this module is meant for you to, is only to introduce you the keywords like accuracy and errors, and what is an analog, what is a sensor, what is a transducer. So I tried to explain in this module, introduce you, acquainted you with these things. Now you know what is analog, a quantity which can continuously varying as distinctive from the digital quantity. So analog, digital is there, so many types of these things. So this module I will close here with introducing you to various terms and various basics of the instrumentation or equipment that is used in medical physics. So you will be dealing with understanding these equipment or the application of these properties in every module, as I told you, ECG one module, EEG one module, and so on and so forth. Thank you.